Hello and welcome to Parkland Challenge 2015. I'm your host, Mike Coulter. Let's go over the rules quickly. In the first and third rounds, whichever team buzzes in first gets to answer the question. If they are incorrect, the other team gets to confer and come up with an answer. These questions are worth 10 points apiece. There's also a video question in each round worth 20 points. The second round is a lightning round. You get 10 points if you answer correctly, but you lose 10 points if you answer incorrectly. All right, let's meet the teams for today's game.
Russell Wilson.
Hi, I'm Allie Hastings. I'm a sophomore at RTHS.
Sammy Blow, freshman at RTHS. Caitlin Babcock, I'm a sophomore at RTHS.
I'm Brendan Ram, I'm a freshman.
I'm Jackson Bursky, I'm a sophomore.
I'm Kathy Seabauer, I'm a junior.
Charlie Hergenrother, I'm a junior.
I'm Will Vavren, and I'm a junior.
I'm Emily Vance, and I'm a junior.
Okay, you know the rules and met the teams. Let's go ahead and get started with the match. Which of the four Beatles was the oldest? St. Thomas More, Kathy.
Ringo.
Ringo is correct. Where in Washington, D.C. is the Statue of Freedom? The Statue of Freedom is on the Capitol Dome. Who wrote One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest? The answer is Ken Kesey. William Booth founded which organization in 1865? That organization was the Salvation Army. What is the strongest known natural fiber? Rantoul Alley.
Cotton.
Not cotton. You guys can confer and come up with an answer if you like.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Carbon fiber.
No, spider silk is what we're looking for. Spider silk.
Yeah, no, it might be.
What is the capital of Montana? St. Thomas More, Charlie.
Helena.
Yes, Helena. What children's author is thought to be buried along with John Hancock and Paul Revere in Boston's old Granary burying grounds? Popular children's author. Rantoul Alley.
Dr. Seuss.
Not Dr. Seuss. You guys can confer if you'd like.
I don't know. No answer.
No answer. Well, it rhymes with Dr. Seuss. Mother Goose is who we were looking for. What is a pregnant goldfish called? Rantoul Russell.
A goldfish.
No, not a goldfish. You guys can confer?
A motherfish.
No, it's called a twit, as it turns out. Give me 5 of the 9 rooms on a standard Clue board game. Rantoul Russell.
Hall,
Yes.
kitchen,
Yes.
study,
Yes.
billiard room,
Yes.
and garden center.
Not Garden Center, no. Can you guys give me 5 of the...
Hall, kitchen, billiard room, study, library.
Yes. Also the ballroom, conservatory, dining room, and kitchen. So very good. Who founded the sportswear company Nike? St. Thomas More, Charlie.
Phil Knight.
Phil Knight, that's correct. Good job. What's the name of the scientific endeavor with the goal of identifying all the genes in human DNA? Rantoul Alley.
Genealogy.
No, not genealogy. Need an answer?
Genealogy.
No, it's the Human Genome Project. That's what we're looking for.
What did I say first?
Which organization's flag is blue with a depiction of the world surrounded by a wreath of olive branches? Rantoul Russell.
League of Nations?
Not League of Nations. No, you guys can be
United Nations.
United Nations, yes. Close. In what world capital would you find a river called the Vltava? That is a Prague river. Prague. What does the Saffir-Simpson scale measure? That scale measures hurricanes. What type of highway is only 4% of the nation's total road system, but carries 40% of all traffic? That answer is the interstates. What Tom Clancy book was the first work of fiction published by the Naval Institute Press? Tom Clancy book. Rantoul Russell.
Ghost Recon.
Not Ghost Recon. You guys can confer if you'd like. Good game.
Rainbow Six.
No, Hunt for Red October was the book we were looking for. Who is next in line to succeed the U.S. president after the vice president? Rantoul Alley.
Speaker of the House.
Speaker of the U.S. House, yes. What is the first man-made element? St. Thomas More, Charlie.
Technetium.
No, not technetium. You guys can confer if you'd like.
Einsteinium.
No, plutonium. Plutonium is the first man-made element. What venerable U.S. company made the world's first LCD HD TV screen? Rantoul Russell.
Sony.
Not Sony. Can you confer?
I did. Well, no, it's a company.
Need an answer?
Panasonic.
No, kind of an old name. Zenith. Zenith made the first one. Okay, it's time for this round's video question, which is for St. Thomas More.
Hi, my name is Paul Young. I teach graph design at Parkland College. What is the difference between a typeface and a font?
What? Typeface. Is it like? Yeah. It's a graphic design, but
Need an answer?
size.
No answer. Okay.
A typeface refers to a design such as Arial. A font is the complete alphabet of one style, including punctuation such as Arial italic or Arial bold.
Tough video question. Okay, back to the regular game. Who was the first person to reach the North Pole? All right, Rantoul Russell.
Santa Claus.
Not Santa Claus. No.
I feel like his last name is Roberts. I think it's Roberts. Something. That's his last name. I think so.
Go for it.
Roberts?
Need a whole name.
I don't know. Stephen Roberts.
No, Robert Peary.
I knew there was something in there.
What body part does a butterfly use to taste with? St. Thomas More, Charlie.
It's feet.
Its feet is correct. What single-name diva wisely dropped her first name and middle names? Louise Veronica. St. Thomas More, Jack.
Madonna.
Madonna is the correct answer. What are the indentations on a golf ball called? St. Thomas More, Charlie.
Dimples.
Dimples is correct. Which Pulitzer Prize-winning novel by Harper Lee was first published in 1960? Rantoul Alley.
To Kill a Mockingbird.
To Kill a Mockingbird. Right. What is the fraction 1/8 in a percentage? St. Thomas More, Charlie.
12.5.
12.5%, yes. Nobody puts baby in a corner is a line from what movie? St. Thomas More, Charlie.
Dirty Dancing.
Dirty Dancing is correct. What composer who conducted the Boston Pops Orchestra is famous for film music, including Star Wars, St. Thomas More, Jack.
John Williams.
John Williams, yes. E.T. and Raiders of the Lost Ark also. Music Row is located in what U.S. city? St. Thomas More, Kathy.
Nashville.
Nashville is correct. What food did Randy ask Napoleon Dynamite for? Correct answer was tots. Tater. Where is your sartorius muscle? Alley Rantoul.
Thigh.
Thigh is correct. The largest zoo in the world is 84 acres of land. It contains 14,000 animals, 1,500 species. Where is it located? Rantoul Russell?
India.
No, not in India.
London?
No, Berlin. Berlin Zoological Garden is what it's called. What is the former U.S. presidential candidate Mitt Romney's first name? Charlie, St. Thomas More.
Willard.
Willard is correct. Good job. I didn't know that. How many pins are on the back row at the start of a 10-pin bowling game? St. Thomas More, Charlie.
4.
4 is correct. If a right triangle has one side that is 6 inches long and the hypotenuse is 10 inches long, what is the length of the remaining side? Charlie.
8.
8, yes, 8 inches. What is the most often sung song in America? Rantoul Russell.
The Star Spangled Banner?
Not the Star Spangled Banner.
That's what I would think.
Okay. Happy birthday.
Happy birthday. A lot of people have birthdays. Only so many ball games. Fort Putnam from the Revolutionary War overlooks what U.S. Service Academy? Allie, Rantoul.
West Point.
West Point is right. What is the word for unreal illnesses in which the physical symptoms are traced back to mental causes? Charlie, St. Thomas More.
Psychosomatic.
Psychosomatic is correct. The Ishihara test is used to check for what condition? Russell, Rantoul.
Bipolarness.
Not bipolarness. You guys can confirm if you like.
Shucks. I don't know.
Need an answer? No, color blindness. Color blindness. Okay, that's the end of our game. We'll tally up the scores and be back with the lightning round right after this.
Flying's always been on the family list. We've always looked at it. For many years, we've always looked at, what plane should we get as a family? But actually having the training has been in doubt because of the U of I cancellation of the program, and we're really excited to see that Parkland picked it up and makes it more available to me too.
It's different. I have to make sure I catch everything, don't miss anything. Mandy usually backs me up. Just if I miss something little, then she'll catch it. But I got every little thing, making sure I did it right. A little bit nervous. Wasn't sure what the landing was going to be like without someone to correct if I messed up. But it's exciting. Out here since the end of August, actually getting the training. I did my internship here in the spring, so I got a few flights before that. And then it's just been flying with Mandy for those previous 24 hours, just getting ready to do everything, practicing touch and goes. Then she put me up in the 80s for the number of landings. And then the rest of the practice is going around doing maneuvers, stalls, slow flight, turns. My mom's parents live overseas, so we traveled over to see them, so we've been on a lot of big planes, and then I figured that'd be something fun to do, and my dad has lots of model aircraft, so we fly those too. So I started on that, and then I guess I worked my way up.
It's a good day to see that he's succeeding in something that's ahead of his dad, and knowing that in a couple of years he'll be my instructor for when I get to go up and do this.
Okay, we're ready for lightning round, and Rantoul has 40. St. Thomas More leads with 170. Let's get started. What 3 keys are considered the Vulcan nerve pinch to shut down a Windows computer? Charlie, St. Thomas More.
Control-Alt-Delete.
Control-Alt-Delete is correct. From Shakespeare's Romeo and Juliet, what is Juliet's family name? Allie, Rantoul.
Capulet.
Capulet is right. This unit of time is 1/100th of a second. St. Thomas More, Jack.
Centisecond?
Not just centisecond. It is a jiffy. A jiffy, which I didn't know was an actual thing. Who was the first woman nominated for the presidency? It goes back to 1872 by the People's Party, Victoria Woodhull. That's her name. Who was President Barack Obama's first chief of staff? Chicago Mayor now, Rahm Emanuel. What month is named after the Latin word for 10? Charlie, St. Thomas More.
December.
December is correct. Which ancient Mexican civilization developed a symbol for 0? Charlie, St. Thomas More.
The Maya.
The Mayans is correct. What color is an orange blossom? Correct color is white. Orange blossoms are white. What do these names have in common? Scott, McClellan, Halleck, and Grant. Rantoul or Russell?
They're all Irish.
No, not all Irish. They were all commanders of the Union Army during the Civil War. What movie sent fans rooting through Nova Scotian cemeteries looking for Jack Dawson? The answer is the Titanic. He's a cartoon of the Titanic. What is the world's most used man-made material? Most used man-made material. Russell, Rantoul.
Plastic?
Not plastic, concrete. Concrete. An NBA question. Who is the often-spoken owner of the Dallas Mavericks? Charlie, St. Thomas More.
Mark Cuban.
Mark Cuban is correct. Where is the world's largest train station? Station is in New York City. What familiar tone consists of two overlapping frequencies of 350 hertz and 440 hertz? That tone is the dial tone that you hear on the phone. What nation has the shortest national anthem? That is Japan. It's only 4 lines. Aubergine is another name for what food? Food is eggplant. Walking the dog, tic-tac, and tie-hop are terms used in which activity? Charlie, St. Thomas More.
Yo-yoing?
Not yo-yoing, skateboarding. Skateboarding. That's the end of our lightning round.
I was going to say yo-yoing.
We'll tally up the scores and come back with our final round right after this.
Rape can change the course of history of a young woman's life, and it has to stop, and the voices need to be heard. Rape is rape. No more.
No more saying everything's fine.
I mean, what part of no don't you understand?
I felt like it was my fault. I was ashamed. I was embarrassed. I lived with it in silence.
I say no more, because the punishment should fit the crime.
No more. No more.
No more.
No more.
No more.
Okay, St. Thomas More has 190, Rantoul has 30. We're ready for the final round. Let's get started. What 3 colors are on the flag of Ireland? Charlie, St. Thomas More.
Green, white, and orange.
Green, white, and orange is correct. What is the value of the bill that features a portrait of Ulysses S. Grant? Charlie, St. Thomas More.
$50.
$50. In what U.S. state was Barack Obama born? Allie, Rantoul.
Hawaii.
Hawaii is correct. What year was the iPod released? Russell, Rantoul.
2002.
Not 2002. You guys can confirm?
Before. I was thinking before. That was iPhone.
I think it was like 2000.
Need an answer?
2000.
No, 2001. Yes, surrounded. Didn't quite get it. What apparatus is primarily used for weaving? Jack, St. Thomas More.
A loom.
A loom is correct. What incumbent Democrat lost the 1980 presidential election? Allie, Rantoul.
Carter.
Jimmy Carter is correct. In rodeo competition, what is the standard required time for a rider to stay on in bareback, saddle rowing, and bull riding events? Charlie, say that was more.
8 seconds.
8 seconds is correct. The only continent without reptiles or snakes is what? Allie, Rantoul.
Antarctica.
Antarctica is correct. What are the most and least used letters in the alphabet? Russell, Rantoul.
Q and Z.
No. Most and least used. Yes,
E is the most used vowel.
I think E is the most used. Sure. E and Q.
E and Q is correct. What was the first sport ever televised in the United States? Charlie, say Thomas more.
Baseball.
Baseball is correct. On which famous train did a murder occur in an Agatha Christie novel? Sammy Rantoul.
Orient.
Yes, the Orient Express. In what country was Albert Einstein born? Allie Rantoul.
Germany.
Germany is correct. Macon, Georgia's Wesleyan College was chartered in 1836, specifically to grant degrees to a certain type of person. What type of person are we talking about? Macon's Wesleyan College. Charlie, say Thomas more.
Christians.
Not Christians. You guys can confirm?
Minorities.
No, it was for women. First American college funded program. What gas in the blood of divers can cause the bends? Charlie, say Thomas more.
Nitrogen.
Nitrogen is correct. The name of which culinary seed is associated with a popular phrase in an Arabian Nights tale and refers to its ability to pop at the slightest touch when ripe? Charlie, say Thomas more.
Sesame.
Sesame seed is right. Sesame. What powers the Hubble telescope? What powers the Hubble telescope? Correct answer is solar panels. Solar power. Who was the United States' first Secretary of State? Allie Rantoul.
Jefferson.
Jefferson, Thomas Jefferson. In which U.S. state was the easternmost stop of the Union Pacific Railroad located during the 19th century? Allie Rantoul.
California.
Not California. You guys can see first right?
It'd be like
Easternmost stop of the Union
It'd be
Pacific.
like Philadelphia. State. Outstate. Maybe, I don't know.
Pennsylvania.
No, Iowa. In 1937, what 1937 event inspired newscaster Herbert Morrison to make the famous exclamation, "Oh, the humanity"? Charlie, say Thomas more.
The Hindenburg crash.
Hindenburg crash, yes. Okay. Who is the author behind the vampire book series Twilight? Allie Rantoul?
Meyer.
Yes, definitely Meyer. Which movie starring Leonardo DiCaprio contains the idea of a dream inside a dream? Charlie, St. Thomas More?
Inception.
Inception is correct. Which war was at the center of the movie Saving Private Ryan? Allie Rantoul?
World War One.
No. Not World War
Yeah, I think so. I thought it was
I.
World War II.
World War II is correct.
I think like France or something.
Name two of any of the 6 singing Osmond brothers. Name any Osmond brother. Allie.
Donnie.
Donnie, that's correct. What is the only state whose name is just one syllable? Charlie, say Thomas More.
Maine.
Maine is correct. Who is the Norse god of thunder? Charlie, say Thomas More.
Thor.
Thor is correct. All right, it's time for this round's video question, which goes to Rantoul.
Hi, my name's Lucy Busker. I teach writing here at Parkland College, and I'm the local expert on all things Batman. We've all heard of Batman and Robin, the dynamic duo who fight crime on the streets of Gotham. But did you know that as many as 7 people have worn the costume and assumed the identity of Robin? My question is, what is the name of the second person to wear the orange and green costume and call himself Robin?
Need an answer?
No answer.
No answer.
The answer is Jason Todd, who took over the mantle of Robin when Dick Grayson became Nightwing. Jason is actually most famous not for how he lived, but how he died. Readers were given a chance to vote on whether he would survive an explosion by calling one of two phone numbers. By a margin of 72 votes, readers chose for him to die. Of course, like most people who die in comic books, he got better.
Okay, let's finish up the round. Phobos and Deimos are the moons of which planet? Charlie, say times more.
Mars.
Mars is correct. What band's song states, every time I turn that truck around right at the Georgia line? What band's song says, every time I turn that truck around right at the Georgia line? Allie, Rantoul?
Florida Georgia line.
No, what band?
That is the band.
No,
This is this.
Oh, is that a band? No.
Yeah.
No, that's a joke.
It's a country band.
I don't know.
Okay, no, it's, oh, no, it's Zach Brown Band, apparently.
Oh, I know. I've heard of them.
What southern states boasts the U.S. National Tick Collection, home to the largest assemblies of dead ticks in the world? What southern state has the most dead ticks? Allie.
Alabama.
Not Alabama.
Sounds like Mississippi. Mississippi.
No, Georgia. Georgia. What is the name of the eggs laid by frogs and toads? Those are called spawn. Spawn. What color are emu eggs? Russell, Rantoul.
Beige.
Not beige. You guys can confirm if you like.
Blue. Is that what you said? Polka dots. Blue.
No, they're green. Green. Winning which three races constitutes the Triple Crown? Allie.
The Kentucky Derby.
Yeah, we need three races.
No answer.
You answer. You guys want to confirm?
You got it.
Kentucky Derby, Preakness, and Belmont.
Yes. The largest Chinatown outside of Asia is in what California port? Allie, Rantoul?
San Francisco.
San Francisco is correct. Which U.S. president was born in a town called Hope? That was Bill Clinton. Bill Clinton was born in Hope, Arkansas. What is the highest hand in a game of poker? Charlie, say times more.
Royal flush.
Royal flush is correct. What salad made from mozzarella cheese, tomatoes, and basils is also the name of the town? Jack, say times more.
Crazy.
Yes. Town where Michelangelo was born. How many whiskers does a cat have? Allie, Rantoul?
6.
Not 6. No. You guys can confirm?
I have a cat, but I don't just because I'm back for years.
8, no, 24. Take some time and count your cat's whiskers sometimes. What did the Romans call a marketplace or public square? Russell, Rantoul?
Market.
Not a market.
Oh, maybe. Is that it? I don't know.
Forum.
A forum is correct. What was the name of King Arthur's sword? Allie, Rantoul?
Excalibur.
Excalibur is correct.
Middle Arthur.
What technology was the Samsung SPH N300 the first wireless phone to include? What did that phone include? Jack.
Texting?
Not texting. You guys confirm?
Internet access.
Data.
No, it was GPS. First phone was GPS. What name is given to the Japanese art of flower arrangement? That is Ikebana. What sitcom star earned $267 million for the final season of the show? Charlie, say times more.
Jerry Seinfeld.
Yes, Jerry Seinfeld. Which instrument takes over the navigation of an airplane after the captain has set the course and speed? Charlie, say times more.
Autopilot.
Autopilot, yes. Okay, that's the end of our game. We'll tally the scores. We'll be back with the winner right after this.
My name is Tahar Baziz, and I have taken the pharmacy technician training at Parkland College. I am a pre-pharmacy student here at Parkland College, so that class is a very good introduction to my career. My favorite part of the class is learning about drugs, more specifically the names and the different uses of the drugs. My long-term goals are becoming a pharmacist and work at a pharmacy or a hospital, and then come back to the university and do research.
Okay, St. Thomas More is going to advance. They have 390. Rantoul had 130. Our next game is Bloomington and Leroy. So thanks for joining us on the Parkland Challenge. We'll be right back after this.